Well, hello, hello, hello. How you guys doing?
Start screaming.
Oh, please don't.
uh,
oh, 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 there's one down. All right. So, if you're watching this either now or in a VOD, hello. If you guys have seen my last stream, we did a tier list of Disney villains that you would be most likely be in a relationship with. This time around, we're doing another villain themed thing, but this time we're doing it a bit different. Before we get to that, so let's introduce everyone that's in call with me. We have Venture, we have Dottie, and we have Owlizard. And we also have Shy Guy, but they are muted.
Hello.
So
So,
We're going to make you regret everything you know about comic books.
We're gonna get you banned on Twitch.
all right. So first things first. Oh, let me actually start sharing my screen before I.
Hold on. Did you link your channel in the chat so I can just click on it?
Yeah, I put in announcements.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, what we are going to do today, as Dai has mentioned, we're going to actually be covering comic books. Not just that, comic book villains, but not only that, a very interesting idea I had when it comes to how to rank these villains. Because we are not just doing Marvel or DC, we're doing the whole roster of different villains throughout comics. But we're doing it a different way. You probably saw from the stream. We are basing it around which villains would be great or horrible roommates. As we can see right here. So, let me just describe the rules real quick. So, first, pretty obvious one, no anti-heroes. I feel like there's just an abundance of anti-heroes that can't be classified as villains, but for example, Venom being an original villain has now just been kind of an anti-hero throughout his entire
No Rorschach, no Deadpool.
Yeah.
Though Rorschach right off the bat would just be horrible because he smells. He doesn't bathe. He's actively a stinky boy. Yeah.
He's also an objectivist. He would just he would beat you up if he saw you with some pretty piece of media he didn't like.
No, you know what he'd say? He's just like, I don't need to pay rent. I'm never home.
Yeah. Well, nonetheless, no anti-heroes. Another one that I had to put a rule on myself for is no overabundance of one hero's catalog. So, because if it was up to me, it would have been just an abundance of Batman and Spider-Man villains. So with this rule in place, I tried to bounce around different hero groups instead of just focusing on one group of heroes or villains. Third rule, no groups / duos. So I'm not counting any groups. For example, I'm not gonna count Sinister Six as one thing. I'm just gonna count each villain individually, if there are some that come up. Then finally, most important rule, I think, if I never heard them, they are not on the list. So if I at least have heard their name or at least have an idea what the character is, I am going to be they're going to be on the list. But if they're not, if I never heard of them at all, they're not on here.
If they're a nobody, I don't care.
But yeah, and there are some villains I have on here that I don't know the specifics on. That's why we have Dottie here. He's our residential comic book nerd in the server.
Well, I don't know everything about a lot of characters, but I hope I can help.
You at least know enough. I'll say that. Then Owl is also here. I invite him specifically because he has a history of very bad roommates. Hi, Mel.
How's it going?
Going good. We're doing stream.
You know, I'm just gonna just pull. It's like, oh, you're telling me that Skullmaster from Mighty Max would make a terrible roommate? The Polly Pocket.
Yeah. Also, that's another rule that is kind of implemented.
Superior Polly Pocket.
Is when it comes to these comic villains, they would have to originate the comics. There's one exception in this rule, and you'll see it when you see it. But for the most part,
it's all comic books.
It's all comic-based characters.
Right.
There might be some situations where, because I do know comic books, I know of comic book characters, but a lot of my history revolves around cartoons or movies and all that stuff. So that's why Dottie is also here to kind of fill in the gaps of like any character stuff that I don't know.
Well, there's lots of characters that I was introduced to through like cartoons more than like the comics. Most stuff comes from like research, but it is very fun learning about all that stuff.
Yeah. But either way, you do more research than me, so you'll be helpful in this situation. So, when it comes to how we're gonna pick these characters, I divide them up, even though we're just doing all of them, from Marvel to DC, and also some third party picks as well. But we are going to do what we did last time, and we're gonna roll the wheel. So we have 55 different kind of villains in here, split up between Marvel, DC, and some third-party picks that I decided to add.
That's right, that's right. We're 3 better than DC with its new 52.
Hell yeah.
Call it New 53.
All right, so
That's
let's get started.
Rey Mysterio, well-known villain. He killed a guy.
All right, let's see what the first pick is. All right, starting off strong with first villain, Doctor.
Beautiful. Oh, it's a shame Jesse isn't here.
All right, let me guess.
Should we have your opinion first, Wheelmaster?
I have a question.
Yes.
Does that mean that you've taken Baron von Underbite out of the rotation?
Who's
Actually-
Baron von Underbite?
You would say if I don't know them, they're not here. But
He's
the Venture Brothers.
Oh, yeah, he was made solely for cartoons or for a cartoon. So even though Venture Brothers would have been a smart like bending.
2 years, 3 months, stroke.
All right. Actually, I forgot to mention what how we're gonna decide this list. So as you guys see, we have kind of not Venn diagram, but just a compass graph. I decided to bring back Lawful and Chaotic because I do think it is a good kind of signifier of like not just motivations, but also kind of like how they would act how people act as villains. Because some fall more here than just pure chaos. But also, I decided to change up the y-axis by having characters that are rich and characters that are poor. Because there are some villains that are very wealthy and some that literally live in dirt. So that's why this y-axis exists. All right, so now, Von Doom. Easy to say he's definitely up here in the rich section, but I also more in the lawful section. But I don't. Pretty much, we're trying to aim closer to the center because if they're like very out here, it's probably not gonna be a very good time as a roommate.
I feel like he would be such a control freak in a living situation that it would border on chaotic.
Okay, but also counterpoint, you don't have to worry about chores because he's probably just gonna have Doombots do it.
That is
True.
fair. Yeah. Also, yeah, something to keep in mind. This is literally just you, like rooming up with a villain. It's like pretty much whatever they can afford will probably be your living situation. So
Having
it's
whatever, so a 2-bedroom apartment with Dr. Doom.
yeah. Well, that's why I guess I'll give that to you guys. Would you guys like room where he is currently staying, or would you guys share like?
Oh, I would absolutely live in Doom's castle. I will expat to Latveria immediately.
Yeah.
Castle Doomstadt.
Yeah, one thing I will also mention, or at least from my understanding, is that if you are like someone that lives in Lavardia, like your life is relatively good. So I don't think he would be purely in the lawful scenario.
Latveria has one of the highest like qualities of human life canonically in the universe because the justification by Doom is Doom takes care of his citizens, otherwise it reflects poorly on him.
Would you say that Latveria has a higher standard of life than like say Wakanda or some shit? Because like aren't they also like super like I mean, they're isolated, sure, but they also take very good care of their citizens.
I really don't actually know how well Wakanda takes care of its citizens. Because it's also technically a warrior culture. It could be one of those things where people have to do a certain amount of something to actually get benefits in Wakanda society. But I'm not too well versed in that stuff, so.
All right. So I would, yeah, definitely up there with the rich because he literally is a leader of an entire nation. I would say more falling here, if you guys would agree, because I do think if you are living with him, he's probably not going to be as big of a control freak as other villains.
Right. And if you've gotten past the point, like the process to become his roommate, then I think you're probably on good terms.
Yeah.
Regardless, if he has chosen you, the vetting process, basically, then I think you're in the clear.
Yeah. I guess something.
Doom rooms with who he pleases.
I guess a good way to think about like the chaotic to Waffle side of it is Waffle would be like full on Waffle would be like Sheldon Cooper level of Waffle.
Okay. Oh God. Also a supervillain.
But then the chaotic is literally just like the worst roommate you can possibly think of. It's just like
Dr. Doom, you know exactly where he's coming from.
Yeah. So so I'll put him right there if there's no disagreements.
I think I'd disintegrate if I lived with Sheldon Cooper.
I would disintegrate Sheldon Cooper in a bathtub of acid.
Shuffle. Let's go to our next one. All right. This is an interesting one that I only know vaguely of, and that is Mole Man.
Okay, so you'd have to have a basement and or backyard for this to work.
Well, here's the thing: if it's a case where we live where he lives, we're literally gonna live in dirt. Like we're gonna live underground.
I mean, counterpoint, that does mean cool monsters on your side.
That is very.
He's poor as dirt. He literally just doesn't like have anything. He's just in charge of like that underground place with all the monsters.
Yeah. Well, like he is he is like anti-human incel mostly.
Well, it's not even about being like anti-human. Like he's like the Penguin. The reason he ended up like that is because people were just really mean to him because he's ugly.
Well,
hey,
was he literally born underneath the earth?
I don't know his backstory.
Yeah, like he's like one of those characters I've never looked into, even though he's actually really important.
Because my understanding is that he was a Fantastic Four villain. Like he was a really fantastic.
He's the very first villain of the Fantastic Four.
All right, so yeah, definitely literally in dirt.
The Underminer.
So living outside, underground, in the damp dark.
So
you can't see anything because you're not allowed lights on.
Okay, very important point. Very important point.
Yep.
If you're roommates with Mole Man, there's a very high chance that you get to actually be friends with Fin Fang Foom.
Cool.
All right. I'll put him here. Actually,
he has resources. It's just that he doesn't have like actual money.
Well, I was just say if he's like a ground dwelling like mole like god, do you think he'd be able to just mine out all the like natural resources and just have all the money he could ever want?
I mean,
but he doesn't care to do that.
Yeah, like as far as I know of his motivations, he really just wants to take over the overworld, like. But we'll put him here. All right, next up, shuffle. Oh boy. All right, let's talk about Devil himself, Mephisto. So,
I think it's like he's a god, so he's like actually just straight up the pinnacle of rich.
That is fair, but
rich in lore.
At least I think in my mind, like whenever we see like where Mephisto lives, he literally just lives in like
Hell.
looks like hell.
Maybe every other month though he's short on rent, so you're always like behind because you have to cover his half.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. Where it's like he's probably up here somewhere.
He's the devil.
He's also chaotic because he'll just arbitrarily decide to make deals for things.
Well, wouldn't that fall more into Waffle territory?
It's the reason why it's chaotic is the things that he's going to ask from you.
I want your marriage, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's another point of like he probably ruined Spider-Man forever, like when it comes to the storyline. But
I think it's also just because like I think he's a good control in a way for like showing how he's kind of used for the purpose of a story.
yeah. But I understand what you mean. Dai is like he's probably more chaotic in the ways he's trying to get when it comes to deals. But he keep in mind he also is more like he tries to get like verbal agreement or written agreements. Like,
Yeah, contracts.
Which is more. We'll just put him up here. We'll put him like.
Yeah, again,
here.
I think like he's a good control for being in between lawful and chaotic with how he does stuff.
Yeah, and we'll put him here. Weirdly closer to the center, but not quite. We probably have to shrink these tokens down a bit more so it can fit everyone. We'll shrink stuff down when we get to it. All right. All right. Next up. Ooh, our first DC pick.
Oh.
The Witcher himself, Bane.
Ah.
All right, where's Bane? There he is.
I feel like he'd be a good roommate in the sense that he'd probably want to keep you motivated to work out with him.
But
and he's also pretty rich, isn't he?
He's in charge of a drug cartel. He's very rich.
He was kept his room clean. He was rich. He was nice. Didn't understand a word he said.
He was speaking in what it sounded like
he's
Spanish.
bilingual.
It had a British accent somehow.
Oh.
Batman.
But it sounded like it was coming from somewhere else.
I guess I'll leave it to you guys. Would you guys think running a drug cartel would be more lawful or chaotic?
Chaotic.
I think it's chaotic because
he's also addicted to venom. It does actually affect him mentally.
Yeah, he could also fly into a rage if the dishes weren't done. And he kills you or something.
Okay, yeah, we'll put him up here.
Bit under Doom, but yeah, I'd say less chaotic though, because he can still run a criminal empire.
Yeah. Put him there.
Because like, there's gonna be guys that are way more chaotic than him on this.
Oh, Batman, dwell in my stomach.
Yeah.
Respected by authorities.
Yeah. Well, I guess the good signifier is probably chaotic. Will probably be drug cartel maybe, but lawful would probably be more mafia, like just standard mafia. At least that's my logic in it. All right, let's move on to the next one. Remove. All right, we're going back to Marvel. Yep. With Ultron.
Oh, awful. He'd be such a jerk because he only talks about himself.
Yeah.
No. Like he's actually very emotional in the comics. Specifically, he's very, very angry with his dad.
He what?
He's very angry about his dad. He does not like Hank Pym.
Wait, did I not put Ultron on this list? Hold on. Am I missing people?
Did you forget to make an Ultron head?
Maybe. Hold on.
Maru sent me the list, so I'm gonna.
Okay, yeah. When you look at because I know I added Ultron on there. Maybe I just forgot to add his token.
Does now, if we're going by MCU, like, do Ultron technically have access to like Tony Stark's bank funds?
If we want to go with strictly movies, I guess so. But when it comes to comics, I know that Hank Pym created Ultron.
Right. So, and because he's like a supercomputer, right?
Yeah. Okay.
He
yeah.
can build basically anything. He doesn't need money.
Yeah. I just full on forgot to add Ultron to with the heads.
But I feel like he'd be relatively lawful because he's always going to keep doing the same thing, but he'd be very poor because I need you to remember he's a robot. Ultron is just going to look at you and go, "What do you mean you don't feel comfortable sleeping in a closet?"
Yeah. Also, I think
What is sleep?
Yeah. Also, I
Who
think
needs
with,
sleep?
Oh, there we go. Shrink this down a bit. Yeah, when it comes to Ultron, like at least what I know about him, he's very anti-human as well. Like he's anti-life, so being with him is gonna suck.
Is he well, nowhere near on the level of Brainiac technology, but he's sentiment is there. Well, no, because Brainiac's thing is he's weird though, because like he wants to collect information, but then he destroys the civilizations afterwards.
Because it keeps it from creating more information.
So lame. So very, very lame.
All right, there we go.
So Ultron is a bit of is very, very lonely because he actually created a female version of himself.
And then she she abandoned him because he based her like mental engram off of Janet. And as it turns out, if you take like the base version of Janet and combine it with like the base version of Hank Pym, they fucking hate each other. So she ends up becoming a superhero.
Is Dottie like cutting out for anybody else, or is it just my Discord?
It's my internet. It's been bad lately.
Right. So I'll put him on the very edge of chaotic. Then I don't know. Like yes, he's probably not gonna have as much material wealth, but he would probably try to construct like other Ultron bots to do stuff. So maybe not as poor as like Mole Man.
No one's as poor as Mole Man.
All right, so Ultron's done. I don't think I missed anyone else. I think I followed the list beat for beat.
Is Gargamel a DC character?
All right, next up, Dormammu. This one, Dahlia, I probably need some help with.
He's a psychotic despot.
He's pure chaos, isn't he?
He's pretty fucking chaotic.
Yeah.
But he's not poor. He's a demon king.
I don't think he has a need for money.
He doesn't. He already controls an entire dimension.
I was gonna say, wouldn't you in his dimension, and he could, I don't know, do whatever he wants?
Technically, yeah.
Would he be on the line then between rich and poor?
That's fair, yeah. Like he doesn't really need any wealth if he's just able to make stuff. All right, hold on, wait. I need to enable stream mode because I'm getting pings like crazy. All right, there we go. So line of chaotic. There we go. I think that works.
Yeah. It's a safe assumption for now.
All right, remove, shuffle up.
Shuffle. Dormammu, I've come to make a deal.
All right, we're
Mamu,
just going
I've
through
come
all
to
the Marvel
bargain.
stuff. We're gonna do Loki next. Sorry for the bad picture of him. I couldn't make his helmet fit.
Chaotic.
He's rich and chaotic.
Yes, he is rich. He is a little rich boy, technically. Yeah. What version of Loki is that?
That's him. That is currently him in the comics. Because he is an anti-hero in the comics right now.
Yeah, but yeah, this is one of the things I was talking to you, Dai, about.
He would be rich and chaotic, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, he would. I would imagine because, like, again, he's a trickster, and it's like you go to like put your sugar in your coffee in the morning. It turns out all the sugar's been replaced with salt.
Yeah, we're living with one of those prank YouTubers, but just like times it's like fucking 100.
That's a good description of it. That would suck.
I suppose another funny prompt would be which like villains would make horrible YouTubers.
I'll probably save that idea, but probably not for comic villains. I think we're gonna
Dr. Doom's castle. We're gonna be seeing how many poor people will fight over this one loaf of bread.
All right. Shuffle.
Actually, no, Owl. You need to realize that Dr. Doom, he would probably hold a fucking
tournament.
Various Got Talent, but specifically for convoluted schemes for killing Reed Richards.
All right. Next up, we have probably someone that would be very annoying to live with, Riddler.
Oh, he'd be awful, and he's not rich at all, right? Isn't he dirt poor?
No, he can at least get resources. I'd say that he'd be a bit into the poor.
Well, wasn't Edward Nygma like middle management, and then he just like went nuts?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he'd have like average income, a little bit poor and very chaotic.
So we're renting a very small apartment, is what
less chaotic than Dormammu.
Did the Riddler have a lair, or did he live in like sewers in Gotham or some shit?
He always had layers.
Yeah, I'll put him closer to the middle because, like, yes, he is chaotic in the sense of what he's doing, but riddles are a very interesting thing to keep, as
he supports himself by writing like riddles and things for like the local tabloids. How is a raven like a writing desk? I don't know.
All right. Next up.
Take the locks off of the fridge. I need milk.
All right, next one is our first third-party one, the Saint of Killers from Preacher.
I do not know anything about Preacher.
I don't know this one.
Pretty much, he is a cowboy that. Granted, this is all from like watching the show, but I'm pretty sure it's the same in the comics. He's pretty much a cowboy that was stuck in hell for a long time. Then a bunch of angels...
I've seen that character around before. Okay.
Yeah, and he was pretty much taken out of hell by a couple angels to help hunt down the Preacher character. So his main motivation to staying up, or to keep living, is just to hunt down the main character.
So what you're saying is we're going to be staying in saloons. That's not even a house situation. We're on the road and then hitting up the saloons.
So he's a single-minded cowboy with a singular goal.
Yeah, I will say in the show, I don't know if it happens in the comics, but at least in the show, he kills the devil and takes over his spot as the leader of hell. So
nice. Well, at least he's got that going for him.
Yeah. Yeah, probably on the lower end here because I don't think he's literally moves all the time. He doesn't really stay
pretty.
In place.
I'd say he's pretty poor.
Yeah, I'll
living off of a bounty hunter salary doesn't exactly keep you well.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't even get paid. Like he's literally is like, hey, kill him. You're able to go up to heaven or something like that.
That's pretty lawful.
That is pretty lawful, yeah.
Yeah, so he'll.
He goes by the code.
Yeah, I'll put him down here. Yeah, that works. All right. So remove, shuffle up. right. Dottie might need some help as well because I only know really one version of him. But Baron Helmut Simu.
Oh, Baron Helmet.
Yeah.
He'd have resources.
But as much resources as the rest of these guys?
No, he'd be I'd say he'd be under Mephisto. He's rich, but he's not Doom rich. Fairly lawful, but in the worst way.
So he'll probably be around here.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, you don't get much more lawful than a guy who's literally a Nazi.
That's fair. That's fair enough. Like I said before, I don't know much about Zemo. I only know him like how he was portrayed in the like Marvel movies.
So there's the original Baron Zemo, who was German during World War II, Nazi, and his son is allied with Hydra entirely because he hates Captain America so much for fucking over his family legacy.
Ooh.
So the thing is, it's not that he agrees with all the principles of them, but he is so angry at Captain America he works with them and doesn't care.
Okay, yeah, I'll put him here. I don't think he reaches the line, but I do think he's on like very lawful. Yeah,
he has resources.
Also, that balaclava is permanently super glued to his face.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna smell.
Wait, is it really?
Yeah.
Yes. Like, Aaron Bomb, he basically invented a super glue that's like permanent, and it was spilled on his face. Yes.
Yeah. So it's like black.
Himself and then his son.
Okay. Fair enough. We will go back to here.
Oh, and also not just that. Apparently, even if Zemo gets killed, he possesses another person.
Oh.
Yeah, because of Hydra Nazi magic or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I learned about this recently.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I do know about Zemo is he was the original creator of the Thunderbolts, but then he either quit or got kicked out of his own group because the group he
made the Thunderbolts to lull society into a false sense of security, saying, "Hey, we were villains before, but we want to reform." When the whole thing was, he was just planning on like making it so that people would think that they're no longer a threat, so he could take advantage of it. And all the other members of the Thunderbolts basically went, "We actually like helping people. Get the fuck out." Well, except, because Matt Gargan was part of the Thunderbolts, and he is very, very much not a good person.
Wait, Matt Gargan?
The Scorpion.
Oh, interesting.
He literally turned into a psychopath by an experiment, and when he was on the Thunderbolts, he had the Venom symbiote. He ate people with the Venom symbiote.
Wait, is it the same Venom's?
Yes.
Okay.
Eddie Brock, I think, was dead at the time, so the Venom symbiote was given to Matt Gargan, so he was Venom at the time. But he would literally kill people and eat them.
As a hero.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah. But that's the only thing I know about Zemo, other than the Marvel Universe, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff. But, alright, let's roll again.
Hello, I exist. Hello, welcome back to the land of the living. Maru's doing his comic book thing.
So it's comic book character.
Yeah, well, villains specifically.
Alright, next up,
Sup,
big
bitch?
is Magneto.
Oh, Magneto. I think he would be a fantastic roommate. I'm pretty certain he's also rich, isn't he?
Yeah, he runs Genosha.
That makes him look perfect.
Or he used to.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, too. If we're going by time period of Magneto, then he has his own island. And granted, if for whatever reason he lets a non-mutant stay with him, then I guess you'd be treated well, too. And I'd say he's pretty orderly, too, so lawful.
I think when it comes to law, actually, that is... I guess when it comes to current lore, is he as hateful of humans as he was in the past, or?
The current X-Men comics are really fucking weird. But the thing is, like, he's not an active antagonist.
Okay. Well, I know that about him. Is like he's not seen as the main X-Men threat as much anymore.
Yeah.
So, Lawful definitely.
I put him under Doom, but yeah, around there.
Yeah. I do think, yeah, if you're not immune, like with older Magneto, it's probably not going to go that well. Like, but if we're trying to encompass the character as a whole, like, if he's not as much as a villain as he used to be, I think he will fit here. All right. Next up. All right, our next third-party villain, Homelander.
Oh God, absolute chaos.
Rich and chaotic.
Rich, chaotic, and probably again one of like he definitely falls under like his own weird version of Lawful, but he's chaotic.
Yeah.
If you say something even slightly offensive to him, he will just murder you. So
Yeah.
that's why he's chaotic.
I'm surprised you didn't grab like the comic book version of him.
Yeah. I was thinking about it, but this face is still recognizable at this point. I had to, so.
The art for the boys is actually kind of fairly generic. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder.
That's another point. I tried to do like a normal version of how he looked, and it
You know,
just looked like just Mormon. Like he just.
I actually wonder if like the role of Homelander is going to like badly impact Anthony Starr's career because it's like he's now so recognizable as such an asshole character.
He's had a couple good movie roles after Homelander.
Oh, good.
So I don't think it's gonna damage it that much.
yeah, I think he'd be less chaotic than Loki though.
Oh, I'll put him right here because he is. To be fair, most of my mindset is in the show because the comics. I tried to read the comics and they were fucking awful. So, so it's only mine with show. But for the show right now, he owns VOD, so he'll definitely be up here in Rich. But yeah, probably. Yeah, probably
Okay.
right.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Jade.
I see we're doing comic book characters. I'm very not knowledgeable except for like basic bitch answers, so I will try my best.
Well, yeah, like, yeah, these are characters that either I know or I've heard of. So if there might be some that you recognize, like some Batman villains or anything like that. Just
Hi guys.
Yeah.
all right. Next up.
What are we doing?
Wait, what?
We are organizing comic book villains into camps for roommates.
Oh,
Yep. All right. Next up. Well,
Who's
we're going
next?
from one Superman clone to another. Let's talk about Omni-Man.
Lawful poor.
Doesn't he like doesn't he have like a normal like regular family and
Yeah.
everything like that? Isn't that the whole point of him? So wouldn't he
Yeah.
be like
He's pretty lawful.
somewhat easy to live with? Because I mean, outside of him being a shitbag.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The thing is, like it was planned. Like him trying to be, like more. I shouldn't say attractive, but more like persuadable was in the plan to try to take over Earth. So.
The thing is, he's not rich.
Yeah.
He's
Wouldn't he be
a
rich?
novel writer
Is he-
for a newspaper, and his books only became bestsellers after he quote unquote died as a normal human being.
Maybe. I'll put him on the line of rich, but I'll put him more I'll put Waffle like here because yeah, he did try to take over the planet, but in a very non-suspicious way. All right. Let's shuffle up. All right, going back to Marvel, we have Norman Osborn, aka Green Goblin.
Again, chaotic and rich.
Oh,
As long as you're not Spider-Man.
Oh no, like Norman is a fucking psycho. The only thing about like the Green Goblin stuff is it just lets it out.
yeah. Well, I think that's probably the good indicator is like maybe it's split because Norman Osborn is like tries to do things under his company lawfully, but
Maru, it still would have been really funny. It would have been really funny if you just had Willem Dafoe's face.
Again, tempted, but
well, it's also like the thing is like Green Goblin isn't a split personality in the comics. It's literally just like
it's not.
It's an identity he uses to be crazy.
I see.
Yeah, he's always a dirtbag. It's just that after the initial thing that turned him made him Green Goblin, he just stayed like that. He was always a terrible person, but just it was just the switch that flipped.
I see. All right, that's fair. Okay, we'll put him in rich here. We'll probably
he's less chaotic because the thing is he can hold himself together well enough to do schemes.
Yeah, I'll put him at the same level as Homelander as well because they have the same amount of wealth.
Yeah, Oscorp.
Yeah. So, all right, easily done. Okay, we got 41 left. I don't know if she's still a villain or not, but next one is Mystique.
From what I've seen, she kind of lives within her means as she has them.
Yeah, but just because, if I remember correctly, she is just kind of a spy, more or less.
I think she would be a slightly chaotic roommate, but I think she'd also be an absolutely bomb girlfriend.
Well, that's a different list.
yeah.
I think you are I think a little bit chaotic because if I remember correctly, she uses her powers to try to do espionage and assassinations, right?
Yeah, and a lot of it is all done at the behest of her in comic universe girlfriend Destiny.
Huh.
A lot of the things that Mystique has done was all because she got predictions of the future from.
Oh, so it's interesting. All right, I'll put her in slightly chaotic and in here.
But
yeah.
a big thing of Mystique is a lot of her actions come out of self-preservation.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm not putting her too far into one side.
Mm-hmm.
So, she's definitely on track to being probably one of the best so far.
I mean, I do agree with Owl that she should be chaotic, given the fact of she's not actually Nightcrawler's mom.
I know that.
No, what I mean is she's not Nightcrawler's mom. She's Nightcrawler's dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, another thing though, I don't know if this is ever explored with Mystique. Is her shape-shifting ability, does it ever affect her mind where she like when she, I don't know, does she ever have multiple personality problems because of her shape-shifting in any of the comics, or is it just she's always kind of like herself?
The only time that has ever been a thing is in a comic series that was done specifically to say this is the most fucked up version of the Marvel Universe.
All right, so it's not
Understood.
Okay.
It's a very interesting comic series, but it's very depressing because everything that could go wrong in the Marvel Universe did go wrong, and the character that you follow throughout it, he's literally on a plane sitting next to Mystique, and she has a split personality breakdown, and her body just violently starts shifting until she dies.
Interesting. All right. Oh, Donut's here.
Hey, Donut.
Okay. All right. So yeah. Slightly chaotic on the line between when it comes to rich and poor. Probably our closest contender to date when it comes to who will be the best.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, the biggest hater that's probably on this list, aside from Doctor Doom, is Eobard Thane, or Reverse Flash.
Or as fuck chaotic.
Wait, so poor.
Didn't he have rich parents?
Eobard.
He would be.
What is his name supposed to be? Like,
Eobard Thawne.
like, is it just like it's not something mixed up for because of his Reverse Flash?
It's literally that because he's from like the year 2500.
Oh,
He's from the future.
Does he ever go back to the future? Or...
He's basically a crazy murder hobo.
he is, and he'd be absolutely chaotic.
Yeah,
and he's probably dirt poor, is he? Or
it was me, Barry. It was me.
I guess the question is, would he be at the very top of both of these?
I'd say reorganize things just a little bit so that he would be above Mole Man, because I don't think there's any way to kind of like. Mole Man has resources. Actually, yeah, no, that's a good place. He has less resources than Mole Man.
Yeah, he's at the ground floor poor right now, but I'm moving around for like lawful and chaotic. Like, is he that chaotic where he'd be at the very top?
Yes,
as well?
he fucked over the entire universe just to like fuck with Barry.
Okay, yeah, he's going to the very corner here then. Oh no.
Didn't run and punch Barry's wife so hard that she had a miscarriage.
And also, remember, his entire brand of being a hater comes from he used to be a huge fan of the Flash, and then he learned Flash's greatest villain was him, so he had a mental fucking breakdown and went back in time to actually prove it right.
Oh no. Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right. Next up. All right. Next up is Poison Ivy. I have a slight rant when it comes to Poison Ivy, but it's not for what you think. So I'm gonna
Considering that the new show with her and Harley, she has actually a really great roommate. She keeps to herself. You know, all of her plans would probably be the most chaotic thing.
Yeah.
I feel like she'd be not rich at all, but she would be lawful in the sense that, like,
of how she's
a plant mom. And I would imagine that she wants like every single like corner of the house having potted. So
yeah, it would probably be living with a less shitty vanity.
And she'll kick your ass if you have a plastic plant in the house.
Yeah. I honestly think she is probably in the same kind of spot as Mystique, but on the opposite side. Like, probably.
Yeah, she's also partial. I don't know what the current case is in the comics, but before like the last two big like reboot thing, or she was like fairly reformed overall.
Yeah. Like, yeah, one of the only like Batman villains that really reforms. But I'll have my rants. I was trying to find pictures of her because in my mind it's like, oh, she's always been like weird looking, but everything I found when it comes to like most versions of Poison Ivy don't have her green, even though she 100% should. She should be green, or at the very least, deathly pale.
It's like the most distinct thing about her, isn't it?
No, most of her iterations are just have her as some white woman.
It's important to remember that she was a character that was made like all the way back in the 1940s.
Yeah, that's fair. But
and it's also like her big thing is she's supposed to be this seductive femme fatale, so you can't really easily just seduce a guy if they know that there's something weird about you because you're fucking green.
Well, at that point, just borrow from Batman and Robin and just have her
excuse
do
me,
pheromones.
I'm just saying, I'm weird,
Hey,
and I've seduced many men.
Excuse me, Dottie. Captain Kirk would like to have a word with you.
Yeah, you know the guy who fucks aliens?
But okay, so would you guys?
I'm just saying,
what-
green women.
Like, would you guys agree with this placement?
Yeah, it's pretty bright.
Okay. She should be green.
My brother had a side tangent when I was in the other room. He said Poison Ivy would be so anti-capitalist that she'd never pay rent, and when the landlord came around, she'd kill the landlord and feed him to her plants.
Honestly, a slay.
Yeah.
Now we both don't have to pay rent.
I mean, it also just kind of really depends on, like, yeah, which version of Poison Ivy you're looking at. Because, like, in the comics, right now, she's very balanced. But, like, if you're looking at animated stuff, there's also the things that went on in the original Batman show, where she had, like, her quote-unquote reform episode, which was very, very insane, and showed just how mentally deranged she was.
Yeah, and actually, she's one of the few characters that we actually see as a roommate with Harley and crap. What's her name? Volt. I forgot what the Lightning chick's name is. Either way,
Livewire.
Livewire. That's yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, there's some
I haven't seen the show.
There's some episodes of the animated series that like have them as roommates. All right, so let's shuffle up.
Yeah.
All right, the big bad of the MCU himself. It's Thanos.
Gee, Hanos.
Awful. He would secretly just do shit that would just like make living with him absolute hell. Have you ever seen that one comic where he like ruins this one dude's birthday every single year?
Literally just because.
Just because.
So more on the chaotic side.
And also the thing is like he probably goes through roommates like constantly. Just because like he just kills them. He enjoys killing.
Yeah. Probably.
He'd be on the same level as Loki. He has access to a lot of resources.
All right, I'll put him there. I'll probably shrink it down a bit more.
I'd say he is more chaotic than Loki.
Oh.
Just because like there is a short comic run where Thanos was actually quote unquote a hero, and the way that Thanos decided to be a hero and like the most effective way to save the most lives possible in the universe, just to make Death herself upset. I'm going to go to planets Galactus is going to try and eat, and I'm going to evacuate everyone. And if they don't evacuate, I'm going to blow up their planet before Galactus gets here.
Oh, so purposely
He wanted to starve Galactus.
Interesting. All right. Next up. All right. Let's get to here. All right, going back to DC with Captain Boomerang. So I know he's in that same area of, like, in between because he is part of Suicide Squad still, right?
Immediate point detection. Australian detected. Get him out of here.
He ran from the other room, by the way, just to come answer that.
He's not rich, and I think that he's actually fairly lawful because he's part of the Rogues. Flash's Rogues Gallery, when you have like the generalized thieves, like Captain Cold and those guys, they actually run on a code that makes it so that when they do get caught, they aren't as badly affected, and one of their big rules is they don't kill.
Is that
this
the
rule
reason why he uses boomerangs? Is so like
Oh no, it's just because he's an old gimmick villain.
Oh, fair enough.
He has a lot of like deadly boomerangs that he uses against specifically the Flash, but because he knows that the Flash can just deal with all of them.
Yeah, that's a funny idea. It's like a bunch of villains like, okay, listen, we don't want to get. We see what goes on in Gotham.
We don't want that smoke.
Yeah, we don't want what happens in Gotham. So we're gonna have these rules that the Flash knows. So we're not gonna be dead.
So, the original Captain Boomerang, he died. And in the New 52, there was an event called Blackest Night, which was black lantern rings, basically going around and like resurrecting people and turning them into zombie lanterns and stuff like that. The current Captain Boomerang caught his dad, who was revived by those rings, put him in a pit, and was feeding children to him.
Oh, God.
And when the rest of the rogues learned about this, they kicked his ass and threw him in the pit with his dad to get eaten alive by him.
Oof.
Because they were so genuinely disgusted with a person who would do stuff like
that. Yeah. So, you're saying this definitely lawful. He is a thief, though, so would he be...
I'd say he'd be less lawful than Omni-Man.
Oh, fair enough.
But more lawful than Poison Ivy. That's a good spot, in my opinion.
Okay. So, yeah, I would say he's in the in-between, because he is a thief, so he has means of getting money.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up. Children.
Okay.
All right, going back to Marvel with, I don't want to say the most famous villain from Fantastic Four, but Super Skrull.
He's a extremely loyal elite soldier of the Skrull Empire.
So definitely more on the lawful side.
I'd say he's pretty lawful and definitely has resources.
I'll put him like above Zemu because probably galactic resources is probably better than whatever Hydra has.
Yeah, it's like I don't know too much about him other than when people read the Annihilation Wave comic, that comic made people love Super Skrull.
Yeah, there was another like a Fantastic Four villain that I wanted to add, but called Annihilus, but I didn't know anything about them.
He's just a crazy bug guy.
Fair enough. All right. So, yeah, well, let me shrink this down a bit. Then I'll put him here. Next up is Black Manta from Aquaman. Where is he?
Which version are we going with? Because he's been rebooted like 15 times.
I mean, the thing is, consistently, always, he is Aquaman's biggest hater.
I don't know why, but he just radiates chaotic energy a lot more than lawful.
He does. He also has like some level of like good resources because he has an entire like underwater base. I don't think he's as rich as like Bane.
Yeah, I'll put him here. Probably put him in the middle here. Because...
I think he'd be on the same level of rich as Zemo.
I hate his helmet.
You don't like the...
I've always hated his design. Is he now in some writings? Is he Aquaman's brother, or has he always just been another like Atlantean that's just a dickhead?
He's a human.
He's a human.
Yeah.
He's a black supremacist that wants to take over Atlantis to turn it into a black ethno-state in edition.
What?
No, I mean that's not. No, it gets even more convoluted. Black Manta is the first canon autistic character in DC.
I need to see what he looks like without the helmet on.
Because here's a thing to know about Black Manta. The big reason why he's so angry and hateful like Aquaman is that Aquaman gets to just live in the ocean 24/7 just naturally, whereas Black Manta was an orphan who had a severe aversion to having anything like soft on his skin. It felt incredibly irritating to him. It was basically mental torture.
Wait a
He
minute,
could
is this
he only
real?
feels comfortable when he's in cold seawater.
You know, I know old comics are corny as hell, but like, look at this. What the fuck, DC? No, I mean exactly what I said. My people, or have you ever wondered why I'm called Black Manta?
Okay, so hey Owl.
Nice of the round.
Owl,
Yeah.
I really need you to look up a character called the Black Bomber in the comics. Or in comics?
Is this DC?
I think he's DC, but it's like it's so horrible. You will get a kick out of it.
4.
Oh.
Oh yeah, this is bad. This is terrible.
For context, Black Bomber was a character proposed for a superhero team in DC as their first mainline black superhero, like all the way back in the 70s, as a guy who white supremacist who could turn into a black superhero.
Yeah, this is bad. This is really bad, DC. Holy shit.
Yeah, we'll move on from that. I'm putting him here.
I need to be back in a minute.
Okay. Hopefully we don't get a very weird one while you're gone. All right. 34 left. Honestly, all things considered, we are making good time. All right, I need to also explain this one because this is also another character from Preacher. Her Star.
Her Star.
What is that?
This is from a comic series I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, his whole thing is he is...
Holy moly, what a look, though.
Yes. Essentially, he is just a character that was selected by Holy Order to also pursue the main character to try to steal the power that he has in him.
Who's this guy?
Her Star.
Her Star.
I do not know this character.
It's another pun.
Get it? Because he's an evil German? I don't know.
He's actually German. He's another character from Preacher.
Oh, okay, I see.
So he has a similar goal. He has similar goals to just trying to capture the protagonist, but it's mainly to extract the angel soul that is in the Preacher character. So his main goal is just pretty much capture him. Yeah, he's a very disturbing individual. I'll say that.
I can tell.
He looks disturbing.
In the show, when we were first introduced to him, it shows him like getting into the organization, and it's pretty much a sparring match. And in order to distract his target while he's in a headlock, he starts jerking himself off to distract the target.
Awesome.
So, I will say he does have some resources, but probably on the same level as Zemu. Probably gonna, I'll put him here. I think.
What's your superpower? Well, I can jerk off really fast.
Essentially, he's an assassin that is pretty much trying to get like a snatch and grab. Like he's a lot more deadlier than his...
Yeah, it's. I think Discord's just being shit today.
I think it is you guys because like you're the only ones that are cutting out for me on my end.
Yeah.
Weird.
Hold on, I'm going to restart my Discord real quick. Give me a moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same.
All right. the only Green Lantern villain that I know of. Sinestro. Sinestro? I don't know.
Yeah, Sinestro.
Yeah.
He did enslave an entire planet while he was still a Green Lantern.
Wait, hold on. Did I also forget to add Sinestro into the list? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Other one?
Yeah, I'm just realizing. Did I accidentally?
Mm-hmm.
I must have added him at some point, but like after I sent you the list. So I think I forgot him. Hold on, I have to get a headshot of him. So
yeah, I don't see Sinestro.
Yeah.
No, Sinestro was on the list you sent me.
Wait, he was?
You didn't add Sinestro?
Oh, he's early
Sinestro.
on. He's early on. Yeah. Hold on. No, but I still forgot to add him. That shows how much I really care about this character. But all right. I'm surprised I didn't add him. Oh well. You know what? I don't care him that much. He's getting the movie treatment.
Oh. Bad.
So, Dottie, anything of note when it comes to Sinestro?
You know, he's the leader of the Yellow Lanterns. He rules an entire planet, and he's very chaotic because he runs things on. Well, actually, no, he's not chaotic because the whole justification he has for things is maintaining order through fear.
So he's probably more on the left, probably on the bad.
He's a hyper dictator. Yes.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll put him. We'll have him be at the edge of.
I know
I will
nothing
say,
about the...
you should put him slightly down to the right, though, because there's one character who should be at the very pinnacle of all that.
He should kill on sight just based on that haircut.
I was about to say I don't know nothing about this character, but he just looks like Sheldon with a bad haircut and a mustache.
He probably acts that way as well. All right.
Why aren't you?
They cut out for you too, Maru.
They did as well.
Okay, yeah. So it's not me this time. I think it's just my mic that's cutting out and being kind of shitty tonight.
Alright. Now is probably the one of the big bads of the DC universe, Darkseid.
I was gonna say he should be at the pinnacle of rich and lawful because his rule is absolute.
It's true.
All right.
You know, interestingly enough, though, there was that one episode of I think it was the Superman animated series where he beats the tar out of Darkseid, but his subjects are like Darkseid, and they like carry him away, just like, oh, glorious leader.
Yeah,
because he is their god.
Yeah, I like that both big bads of each series are on very separate sides of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Because like comic book Thanos is way more fucking chaotic.
All right, let's see here.
Because like you can't say that a man who unironically had the fucking Thanos copter is orderly.
Yeah. I keep forgetting about the Thanos copter.
Everyone forgets about the Thanos copter. Like, to the point where the only way they could even include it in the movie was that stupid spinny sword they gave him.
Alright. I think we've gone to the worst villain of them all in the current Marvel universe. Paul.
I feel like Paul should just be at the very mid. Actually, no.
No, if you put him in the very middle, that means he's the best roommate.
But the thing is, like, he probably would be, even if you fucking hate him. Because he is literally just a normal guy, aside from having magic.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. even if like logistically, he pays his rent on time, he cleans up after himself, he, does all these things. There's also a mixture of personality too that has to be with being the best roommate. And if you and your personalities do not mix, then you're not the best roommate. You're just a good roommate. Like, so he wouldn't be in the middle now, would he?
Well, again, he's like the most mentally stable out of all of these characters.
That's fair.
Then why do we hate him?
Because his entire existence is to just screw over Peter Parker. He was literally made because the guy who currently runs like all the Spider-Man series absolutely hates Peter Parker and Mary Jane being in a relationship.
So he's just a jealous weirdo.
He's not. No, it's like he's not the jealous weirdo. Paul is the one currently in a relationship with Mary Jane because of reasons.
I thought they changed that recently.
They're in marriage counseling right now.
What? Was there a comic of like Paul was like losing his kids because they were disintegrating or something?
Yes. They disappeared from reality. They ceased to exist. They were literally in-universe retconned out.
Yeah. You know what?
And he's reasonably upset by that.
Yeah, I'll put him up here because I do think he does live in New York. Which,
yeah, he has to afford Manhattan prices.
Yeah, and also any sort of destruction that happens in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put him right next to Mephisto as well because he is the
It's the line that fucks over Spider-Man specifically.
Exactly.
Do you think that in these like superhero like universes that there's like insurance for like superhero destruction?
Oh, in Marvel there literally is.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And
I don't know.
I don't know. There's a company in Marvel called Damage Control, and they actually were one of the major contributors to the Civil War storyline because they were sick and tired of having to clean up after superheroes.
Sorry, you cut out for me. What?
Damage Control contributed to a really big storyline in like over a decade ago called Civil War, where they didn't want to have to clean up after superheroes anymore because their job was like they're a government agency that is supposed to support communities after they get destroyed by superhumans.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I'll put him right next to Mephisto, and I'll say he'll be the closest so far as well as Mystique and Poison Ivy, where like these three are pretty close into being the best. But I will also say, as a story, I do wish if it was a case where fucking Mephisto turned out to be Paul.
I wouldn't surprise me by this point, to be honest.
Well, the thing is, we've seen him act normally, like having kids and all that. I just would have found it funny if like he was kept vague enough where when he's revealed as Mephisto, it would make sense. But at this point, it doesn't make sense anymore.
I'm pretty sure that what they're going to be doing with Paul is they're going to be doing whatever they can to try and salvage his personality and make him an actually interesting character on his own by just putting him through the fucking ringer, because he's apparently going to be Venom now.
Ugh. I mean,
it would have made more sense for him to be Mephisto because he literally, made Spider-Man sell his marriage to him.
Yeah. Like as a through
Actually,
line,
that
it would make
happened.
sense, but
Paul was a recent development. Peter selling his marriage happened like way before.
Yeah. One bad day, right? Or one good
One more day.
Yeah, one more day. No, one bad day is Joker related.
Yeah.
All right, shuffle.
Oh, I thought you were on the phone. Yeah, but I could. If you were no. I was about to get up.
I don't think we really need to discuss this one too much. Red Skull.
He's a rich Nazi.
Yep, probably more rich than Zemo. He's paying up
Yes.
here.
He is one of the big guys in Hydra. So
Yeah, I'll put him here. Probably not as rich as the rest of these guys though. All right, I think we're close to halfway done. Oh, speaking of Venom, we have his villainous counterpart, Carnage.
absolute chaos. Okay, so Maru.
Yep.
Move up Reverse Flash to a little bit more lawful, because the thing is, he's always hyper fixated on Barry, and put Carnage in his place.
Okay, so left here.
Right there, yeah, and then put Carnage in the very.
Sounds good. Where'd I put Carnage? There he is.
Because the thing, he, you know, he's going to kill you, but it's Cletus fucking Cassidy.
Man, yeah. He probably lives in like a storage container, if I had to guess. All right. We're just breezing through these. All right. Here's our only dual character, Dracula. So I have 2 tokens of Dracula, one from Marvel and one from DC.
I don't really know anything about him in DC, to be honest.
From my understanding, Dracula in DC is more akin to Dracula in any other media. Meanwhile, I know Marvel Dracula is a bit different.
Well, Marvel Dracula, he's fucking Dracula. He's a villainous vampire, but he understands maintaining the balance between like the number of humans and the number of vampires.
So probably more on the lawful side.
Yeah, he's very lawful overall.
All right.
And he does rule a nation.
But you get movies like, do you remember that movie where like vampires are the majority of the population on Earth? And there's like a scene in this movie where like guy's like, it's like, oh, I want some blood with my coffee. And it's just like, that's all you get. It's like, what do you mean that's all I get? He starts like fighting the coffee baristas and shit.
Yeah.
I think I know what movie you're talking about. I don't remember that scene from it though.
All right, so I think here's what I'm gonna do. I think the Dracula in DC is more akin to like
An actual demon.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's more akin to like letting his bloodthirst get to him, while Marvel Dracula is probably more reserved,
maintaining control over the vampires of Earth.
Yeah. So I'll put them on the same level when it comes to Rich, but yeah, they'll be full in chaos. All right. So next up. All right, another third-party pick, Shredder.
He would be lawful, but I think he'd be an awful roommate.
He also has resources, but I'd say like he wouldn't be super rich.
Yeah. Well, I guess the basic question would.
Are we living in the Technodrome?
Again, it's your decision. Either it's just a 2-bedroom apartment, or you live at where they live. I guess how lawful would he be?
He's single-minded and driven. And he is kind of used as like an allegory for drug lords. In the show, at least. I'd say he's pretty lawful, because the thing is he still has his own conduct that he follows.
Alright. Yeah, I'll put him here, and I'll put him on the same level as Red Skull. Next up. I think we're officially at the halfway point. Our next third-party contestant, Gargamel.
Terrible. Absolute chaos. Mans can't even control tiny blue people. Fuck them.
And also, like, absolutely poor, just because, like, he's either trying to get the Smurfs to eat them or turn them into gold.
Change poor to poop. Gargamel's pooped here.
All right, so yeah.
You know,
he does live
I
in
think
a
he's
castle,
a good control.
Though.
Yeah, because, like, someone abandoned it.
It's still a castle.
Yeah, he's a
so
squatter.
I'll put him slightly above.
Water.
Yeah, I'll put him slightly above these guys because these guys are literally homeless.
You think it looks like that smells good? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'll put him here.
You think he's stinky?
Extremely.
All right. Next up, I think we have most of the third parties. We only have 2 third-party slots left. All right. One of the main Spider-Man villains I have on here, Dr. Octopus.
I don't think he's rich. He relied on grants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the thing is kind of like he went crazy hobo, so I think he's probably on the poorer side.
All right.
Do you think he's poor and more chaotic, or do you think he's a little more lawful because he's researching?
He did take over Peter's body for an entire comic run to try and say that he's better than him.
How'd that work out?
It ended up with him admitting to Peter while his mind was fading from the body that Peter was the superior.
God, he's cutting in and out, sir.
It's you guys, like I'll admit, like
Yeah.
Our internet's being bad today.
I don't know what to do about that.
It's hard to say because the thing is, I actually don't know too much about Dr. Octopus other than like he's always researching stuff. And I know that like he always has to like steal money. He has to always like steal his shit.
Yeah.
He also really hates Iron Man because they went to college together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll put him here.
I think that's a safe bet for now.
Yeah.
Actually, a big part of him is also those like the tentacles he has actually affect his mind and make him.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, this is a pick that I chose because I was looking at Daredevil villains and I have Kingpin in here and I was thinking about doing Bullseye, but I feel like he fits a lot of criteria for other characters in this list. So I decided to go with a character named Muse.
Muse.
Yes.
I don't know this character.
He is a recent Daredevil villain. He's deceased now, but I think they're planning on bringing him back. Apparently, he is just a serial killer artist.
So what you're saying is he's poor and slightly lawful because he's a serial killer.
Yeah, pretty much what he does is he kills and uses either their bodies or their blood to make art, like street art.
I'd say he'd be above Gargamel, but he should be on the middle line because, yeah, he's a serial killer, but he's also using it for artistic stuff.
I will say he does own he does have an apartment in New York, so you know what? He'll be in the run-in for these 4. All right. Yeah, that's a safe bet. All right. Let's keep going. probably the most chaotic character we have here, Mr.
Mixelplick.
Mixelplick, yeah. Superman villain. DC's right here. All right, where did I put him? Here he is.
Well, okay, so the thing, he replaced Paul for his head. So this is the thing that's kind of like weird about Mr. Mixelpickle. If you are roommates with him, are you still yourself, or are you on the same level? Are you a fifth dimensional being in this hypothetical?
I think in this hypothetical, you are just yourself, and it's up to you where it's either you guys share the same space, so like some just apartment out in like the city, or it's a case where you live in the same place he does.
So I would say put him in the place Dormammu is. And my reasoning is because he has absolute control over reality, right?
Yes.
But you are a fourth dimensional being, he's a fifth dimensional being. He is your roommate entirely because he's going to find it funny to fuck with you in weird ways.
Ugh, okay.
Meaning some days you could be living in absolute squalor because he's like, I want to do it Always Sunny in Philadelphia day. Other days you could be living in a like really nice house in like Malibu, but it'd still be like, oh, I'm angry, so we're going to be in a 2.5 Men episode.
Oh, that sucks.
So it's literally all based on what he finds the most entertaining. So that is the absolute chaos of it.
I'll take your word for it. Yeah, because I know like the Superman like version or Superman TV show version of him, but yeah, he just looks like a weird scrunkly dude. So I just thought it'd be funny at him.
You mean like the most recent like Superman thing?
Oh, no, the cartoon.
Okay, yeah. I watched someone do an entire video essay on him, and the funniest thing is him in that cartoon. Because of the way that the character works, he might be making references to the original comic he showed up in.
Really?
Because he knows that he was in that comic.
How meta.
Well, I guess it's a thing of like, granted, like I know of the character, it's just I don't know him too well. Is it a case where like similar to Batmite, where he's just a fan of Superman, or does he actively hate Superman?
He thinks of Superman as the most entertaining toy ever.
Okay, so kind of similar to how Batmite is.
Kind of, except Batmite outright idealizes Superman, whereas Mr. Mixelpick has a begrudging respect for Superman. But he's like this meta entity that understands that he's not allowed to interfere with certain things. He's only allowed to mess with.
Sounds good.
He can completely unmake the multiverse if he really wanted to, but he just doesn't.
We need him in fucking Marvel.
Yeah.
All right. So next up. Probably one of the creepiest characters in this list, MODOK.
I mean, he's in charge of AIM, and he's like, he runs on a set logic.
He does act a lot more chaotic when I see him, at least.
Yeah, because it's funny. I'd say that's good though. Make him a bit more poor. Like that's good. I'd say.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So I decided to pick Hela for two reasons. One, just because Marvel Rivals came out, she's she's gotten spotlight again, similar to MCU. But also, I am curious what the comic version of her is like because I could not, for the life of me, find a good like comic panel of Hela. So I just took the movie, like a movie image of her.
Okay. So she is a cosmic entity, and she takes her job very seriously. She is the goddess of the Norse.
Okay, is that the reason why she doesn't show up too often?
Yes, because the thing is, she's very powerful. She is a cosmic entity given her like powers by Odin himself. And she's not actually like a villain. It's like she's a death goddess. She's in charge of the underworld. If you are there, you do not get to leave unless she makes a very rare deal with you.
Fair enough. So she's not really seen.
Great example. Great example is that one Hulk movie.
Yeah.
Where Loki pretty much gives Hela Bruce Banner's soul, but as weirdly takes over the Hulk's body. But then it's like this whole thing where Loki can't control the Hulk, and he just starts destroying Asgard.
It's not even that he can't control him. It's literally Loki gets knocked out of his fucking body, and the Hulk goes on a rampage, and Loki's on the front end of it. So Thor goes, I know how we can solve both our problems. So they go down to Niflheim, where Hela is, and goes like, can we have Bruce Banner back? She goes like, no, of course not. He's mine now. And then they're just like, okay, you get to have the other half of him then. So now you have a complete.
Yeah, then Hulk starts destroying Niflheim. That's right.
And then Hela's just like, no, please take him away.
All right, I'll put him up here, and I'll put him per at like the opposite side of Loki.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also Hela is canonically Loki's daughter in the comics, but there's weird stuff going on with it.
If it wasn't anything relating to gods, is gonna get weird. So, next
Hey, Howard, what do you call it when an ice giant gets a cold?
Don't know what.
Sniffelheim.
All right. Next up, I know the concept of Doomsday, but I don't know if he really has any sort of real character.
He started getting personality in just before the New 52 happened, because with how strong Superman just is as a character, there is a writer finally went like, yeah, no, like there has to be Superman beats the shit out of Doomsday and tells him, you're never going to be able to kill me. And like before the New 52, like it showed that Doomsday was developing more of like a nuanced personality, but he's chaotic and fully poor because he's basically a mindless engine of destruction.
Okay. So on the line here, you say?
No, fully chaotic because he just likes murder.
All right. We gotta move someone.
I'd say move Zoom and Cletus over to the left more, and then just put him at the very corner.
Okay.
Because again, the thing is, Cletus, like murder, but you know that he's going to kill people, so it's not the most chaotic.
All right, there we go. Yeah, my concept of Doomsday is really just a nuclear bomb that Superman needs to take out once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right.
He's smart enough to communicate. He just chooses not to half the time.
All right. Arguably the most famous DC villain ever, Joker.
Most chaotic, but not. Yeah, I'd say make him slightly more rich than Ultron.
Yeah. Yes.
And he should be on the very end, like the chart.
There you
Because like it's just that's his character. He's supposed to be chaos.
Yeah, let me try to match up, but there we go.
Because like oh yeah, no, right. So there was the Emperor Joker comic where Mr. Mixelpicked, he has his own rules, and Joker somehow got access to his abilities and just became complete and utter chaos. So it does show that Joker is more chaotic than even a fifth dimensional imp.
All right, shuffle up. All right. This one, again, I generally know about, but not specifics, which is Apocalypse.
Oh, and He is, I'd say, actually put him just under Darkseid. Because he is basically a mortal pharaoh who wants to rule the world so he can essentially make the ultimate he's an ultimate Darwinist, basically. Survival of the strong above all else, wipe the world clean of like the weak.
Yeah, and we know that he's into experiments, right? Or is that
him personally? No.
I think about Mr. Sinister, aren't I?
Yeah, his subordinate, Mr. Sinister, is.
Okay. So yeah, yeah, fair enough. Again, like I remember seeing him in X-Men comics, but those are kind of not in my memory. Like so. Mm-hmm. But again, if I at least heard them, I add them in. Right, 17 left. Mostly DC for those. All right. Our second to last third-party pick, the Violator.
Absolute degenerate. Poor as shit. Chaotic as shit. Moldy pizza boxes all over the apartment.
Put him just behind like Cletus, I think.
Yeah, he'll take up this whole space.
Yeah, because I think just put him behind all of them, because you'll see him anyways. Like, yeah, that's perfect. The degenerate corner.
Yeah. The Violator is giving Doomsday a head massage.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah,
I feel like the Violator would in fact do that to Doomsday because like Doomsday couldn't kill him.
Yeah, I decided to do the human version of him because that's probably the version you'll probably see him most.
The clown.
Yeah. All right. I think the last Flash villain that we have for now, which is Gorilla Grodd. Couldn't find a good picture of him, sadly.
Monkey.
Who's the other gorilla that was in the animated series? The one with the big brain? Ah.
Oh, no, that's the Ultra Humanite, and he's not actually a gorilla.
Ah.
So, I honestly, he does run Kingdom of Apes, doesn't he?
No, he tries to take over Gorilla City, but he fails constantly.
Okay. So, probably on the lower end here.
Because... Yeah, I don't think he has much money, and he's like, I think he's a little bit lawful because, like, he's a manipulator.
Alright. I'll put him here. Alright.
He sees money as a necessity to get things done. He doesn't believe in, like, a... Yeah.
Alright. Kind of multifaceted villain, Taskmaster. Yeah.
I have the feeling Taskmaster would actually be a pretty okay roommate overall. because the whole thing is he's a mercenary, but the big problem is he has dementia.
Ooh, that's fair. Well, does
He's
he have
not
dementia?
poor. He has plenty of money.
Well, does he have dementia for like in all of his runs, or is that like a recent development?
It is a thing that has been canon since like the late 90s. It is literally because of the nature of his power, everything that he like memorizes pushes something out of his head. He does not remember his family anymore.
Ooh. Well,
And
at the very
actually, no,
least,
he remembers bits and pieces of them. But the real thing in like a recent run that's very concerning is his daughter has the same power as him.
oh, so okay. Is she also a villain, or
I think she's a mercenary like him, but
okay? I
um
here's my argument when it comes to like roommates as
mhm.
I think he would, yeah, because he's pushing all the stuff behind his head. I feel like if he starts learning more like stuff to being a better roommate, like trying to cook, trying to clean the best, all that stuff, I feel like it might fuck up with his villainy a bit. In that case.
I mean, also the Taskmaster is that kind of like person that I absolutely expect to like. He never cooks for himself. Everything is takeout, and he can afford it.
So probably I'll put him slightly above the rich line then.
Yeah, I'd say move him closer to the middle for like lawful and chaotic though. Like he has no reason to fuck with you, but again, he still has like that weird dementia thing going on, and he might just actually forget stuff.
Yeah. I think the funniest thing I've seen from Taskmaster in a while is he like he learned how to perfectly play golf, so he's able to beat out fucking Kingpin.
Yeah.
It's a very funny idea. But yeah, I'll put him right here, like in between Paul and Ivy. All right. Okay, we're running low. Oh, speaking of Kingpin, how do you guys feel about the Wide Lad himself?
Rich and lawful.
I guess how lawful would he really be, though?
I think he has the same amount of material wealth as like Red Skull or Bane. And he's a very like he's an absolute authority figure who basically just doesn't take no answer. He's very, very vindictive and prideful. Because one of the recent like comic runs was literally him turning New York into a police state, all because he was pissed that he couldn't remember the secret identity of Daredevil.
Oh. Well, is he still the mayor in the comics? Because
no, that entire thing was what led to him no longer being the mayor.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I brought it up because when he first became mayor is actually when Muse was kind of starting out.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's the arc that basically said he's not the mayor anymore.
Yeah. Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Those like, I just could put out my new tidbit when it comes to Muse. Pretty much, he was captured before Fisk got into office, and when Fisk got into office, he escaped custody and started doing a lot of art pieces. Pretty much because Fisk was trying to make vigilantism like illegal, like in the states, and Muse was pretty much making a lot of making a lot of arts, pretty much denouncing Fisk. Like,
yeah, the thing is, like, he comes up with like all kinds of convoluted schemes, but I feel like you can stay on Kingpin's good side long enough.
Yeah, I'll put him here, kind of next to Shredder.
Just don't make fun of his weight, and you're good.
Or his head. Alright, this one I'm gonna need some slight help with. But I know the character, like, I know the basics of the character enough, which is Brainiac.
Honestly, Brainiac is kind of reworked. He's been reworked a bunch of times.
Like, how his personality is, or?
Yeah, because the thing is, sometimes he's just made, like... His very first iteration, he was very, very humanistic. And then he was made, like, more cold and calculating and, like, a lot of the side stuff. In the most recent comics featuring him, he was abducting Kryptonians to turn them into living power batteries so he could create like his own family.
Huh.
Which was, like, it was really chaotic. It was a chaotic storyline. But he has access to insane resources. I know that much.
Alright. With that in
Actually,
mind...
no. He is fairly chaotic because even if his end goal is accumulating all knowledge in the universe, he did decide to just take an entire city and shove it in a glass.
And shove that in
That's true.
He did decide to take an entire city, shrink it down, and put it in a glass bottle.
Okay. I'll put him above Green Goblin.
And by the way, that is still canon. It's the city of Kandor.
Yeah. Actually, looking
Kryptonian,
at it,
right?
let me move some of these down because
Yeah, that's
some of these are kind of.
Bane would still be pretty rich because again, he's in charge of a cartel.
Yeah, but will he still be? Will he be as rich as Super Skrull though?
Super Skrull is a military man.
Yeah.
So the thing is, Super Skrull has access to resources, but I do not believe he lives a life. I don't think he lives a life of luxury.
All right. Well, either way, I'm just moving stuff down to kind of match. There you go.
Like, there's a difference between a god and a CEO in terms of resources.
Yeah.
Thanos would be on the same level as Loki.
Yeah.
Because he is a Titan.
All right. Okay, that looks good. All right. All right. One of the first villains I had for Wonder Woman, Cheetah.
I don't actually know that much about her.
I'm gonna say she's probably poor, but I'm not sure. Wasn't she a scientist too?
Yeah.
So poor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor.
Yes.
Most of the stuff she does is like robberies in the comics.
I'd say she's like poor and lawful. One of the few.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll put her on. Yeah, I'll put her in like this okay circle that I'm developing.
Beauty, remote control.
Yeah, it's like I'll
If
yeah.
we were going
of just okay participants.
Also, I will say I feel like you should swap Bane and Black Manta in their places. Because the thing is, like, they're both mercenaries, but I feel like Black Manta's just absolute hatred of Batman makes him more chaotic than Bane.
Batman.
Or Aquaman, sorry. Bane is just like, he's a cartel leader who wants to sell drugs.
Fair enough. Alright, so next up is... But yeah, when it comes to Cheetah, what I was thinking about, yeah, scientist accidentally or purposely gave herself Cheetah-like abilities that also, same thing as Poison Ivy, also affected her skin, which it should be because was looking at Cheetah pictures, it was just some babe in a Cheetah outfit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So in recent years, they've been doing more of the Cheetah aesthetic a lot more.
Well, she's had the Cheetah aesthetic for at least like since the 80s actually, because Wonder Woman has like one of the weirdest publication histories in comics. She becomes an entirely different character every time there's an entire multiverse reset.
Fair enough, but either way, she had a similar start to Poison Ivy, so it's like, oh, just yeah. All right, let's get it. All right, a character that crosses over time to time, Deadshot. Couldn't find a really good picture with him without being Will Smith, so.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of like one of the annoying things about like that movie, because like a lot of people don't realize that he's a sleazy Italian in the comics, actually.
Well, he's a perfectionist, right?
I believe so. He's not chaotic because the thing is, he's a mercenary.
Oh, I would just place him there so I can see him.
Yeah.
Oh, standards.
All right, so Waffle, at least rich enough to have a bunch of equipment, I will say.
Yeah, I don't think he's a broke ass bitch, at least, but he's definitely not super rich. Probably on the same level of Taskmaster.
Yeah, I'll put him right next to Taskmaster. There you go. All right. Yeah, that was a relatively easy pick. Okay, we only have 10 left. All right. So next up, we have one of Batman's also one of Batman's famous, Two-Face. Now him, I wish Jade was still here because I would just ask her a question. What would it be like with someone with bipolar?
I mean, this is a bit more than bipolar disorder.
I know. I just want to make the joke. Either way, but yeah, someone with split personality.
He's definitely chaotic, and he'd be in between rich and poor because I don't think that he's lived outside of art for a long time.
Yeah.
But he's still a former lawyer.
Yeah, I'll put him here because I do think he's probably more chaotic than Mystique is.
Oh, it gotta be lawful.
Like, he needs to have the coin to make decisions. Otherwise, he actually has breakdowns.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll put him further this way then. All right. Next up, Clayface. We'll say Clayface has been having a bit of an upswing, like when it comes to like his appearances.
I mean,
He's
there's
a washed up actor, so for sure on the poorer side.
Yeah, he had one of the big things is
imagine he must have had some money.
His entire life got like fucked up, and he was like he was one of those serial actors, so he showed up in a lot of stuff.
Maybe it's just because a lot more recent versions of him have kind of shown him on more of a positive light.
Yeah.
Do you think he just drags clay all over the house, like he's just leaving a slime all over?
No, he does not do that. It's all part of him.
Yeah,
I can tell you that much. But also, because of his transformation, he is clinically insane. It has completely warped his perspective on things. So he's fairly chaotic.
Micron gave me a follow. Thank you, Micron. He would be. Sorry, Micron. If you've been saying a lot of messages, they haven't been noticing. Imagine he's roomy is just least message ever. Oh, so
that's what I'm saying. He's saying he's like a slug. He leaves a trail. Especially if Clayface in a realistic situation has to constantly be a little slimy, because if he was dried out, he'd crack and get all gross, right? But he has to stay moist and gross.
I haven't seen any version of him where he leaves behind like a trail. He might leave specks of clay around, Like for example, if Batman's trying to figure out a case and he sees Clay somewhere, it's like, oh, that's probably him.
Yeah.
But
Like, he's not leaving huge things of it around. I'm just saying there's always a gross film of like, because have you ever touched wet clay? It's got a weird feeling to it. It's quite slimy.
The thing, he's called Clayface, but he's not actually clay. The thing is, every part of him, he just reconstitutes it.
I don't think
so. He doesn't leave behind.
I think he'll just leave filth around. I don't think so. I think him being once like rich, like I think he would still have some sort of manners towards him.
I'm not even talking about. Okay, so
there's someone in chat, so that's why I was responding.
Yeah, but I'm like explaining. His body is like. Okay, so Clayface, if you freeze him and you break him apart, he's going to reform afterwards, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens. Like, if he gets, like, frozen and broken apart, he puts himself back together. Every single part of him goes back to him. So he wouldn't really be leaving a significant residue. It would be the equivalent of, like, fingerprints coming off of him all the time. Like, natural skin residue.
Yeah, like he would slowly start to collect stuff.
Yeah, like he probably gives off like dead skin cells. So
yeah, I would argue because of like the recent versions of Clayface that have popped up the last couple of years, I think he goes into this like circle of characters that we've been forming here.
Yeah, because like the recent stuff in the comics has made him more mentally unstable, but he's not trying to be evil in the comics.
He'll never wash the dishes.
Yeah, I feel like he would be like similar to like an aging star, where it's like they just delude themselves into thinking they are still a star. Like I feel like he will have that similar kind of mentality.
Maybe again, like he's a much more nuanced character in the comics right now.
Yeah. So, do you guys agree with this placement then?
I think I'm fine with it.
All right. Yeah. All right. So. All right. I think the last Spider-Man villain that I have for this list, Mysterio. Big old fishbowl.
That's right, Spider-Man. I think Mysterio. I don't know much about his actual character outside of his powers, because like he just does the illusion bullshit, right?
He is again one of those ultimate haters.
Yeah,
because
he is self-absorbed. He wants to basically prove that he is the best special effects artist ever.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Why? Well,
he did trick Wolverine into killing in the entirety of the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
I would say he's on the same level as like these guys when it comes to richness, but I'm trying to think of, would he be more chaotic?
He's definitely chaotic, and he's poor at the moment because he's in hell.
Okay, we're talking about like specific what. We're talking about the general character, not where they are.
Yes, no, I mean like he has been in hell for like the last decade.
But like his background though, like his powers are a form of like, he built these inventions and shit, right?
He's a
like was he rich?
Artist,
no, he's just like a special effects guy.
He's a special effects guy who constantly tries to rob people.
No.
All right, so definitely
like Hollywood worker, like.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood crew member.
Then yeah, chaotic. I'll put him right here.
And slightly chaotic works really well for him because like he beat a demon entirely through the use of practical effects.
All right, let's give it a shot here. Michael Bay, but evil.
So Michael Bay.
All right, here's our last 30-party contender. This is the only character that has broken the rule.
I was gonna say there wasn't a comic about him, right?
Yeah, this is mainly a Dottie pick. This is the character. This is the character that he wanted in the list.
So he he is not rich. He's the most. It's proven that he's not rich, and I would imagine. I suppose. I don't know, because he's like chaotic, but like he follows a very strict set of rules.
And then he did have a turnaround, so I guess he's like in the middle of the road there.
The thing about Megamind is that he is an art tour villain. He does things because he thinks that's going to be like the biggest and coolest thing.
It's true. He already does have roommates too, so he knows how to live with people.
Yeah. Micron, look at the rules on the bottom left. No groups or duos, so the fish friend is not there.
Minion is not included.
Well, who was the one duo that you broke on the list? Didn't you say there was one that was technically a two, or were you talking about Two-Face?
I was talking about Two-Face.
Okay. Harvey, big bad Harv.
Yeah. All right. So, honestly, I don't think he's as poor, because he is able to at least have the funds to make, or he's able to at least steal enough money to make his contraptions.
Yeah. I mean, he makes most of it out of like trash. It's like he made stuff while he was in prison. And I think he's more chaotic than the Riddler, because I can fully imagine Megamind just one day deciding to make his gimmick for his crime riddles. And then moving on.
Alright. Yeah, I'll put him here. Because his character being here does break some rules, but it's funny enough to put him in. Alright, so Megamind there. We only have 6 left. Alright, Dottie might need some help here, because I get the general idea of General Zod, but...
Neil!
I mean, I don't really know much about him, but I think I remember seeing somewhere that he was actually like one of the major inspirations for the Viltrumites in Invincible.
Yeah, just because he is a Kryptonian that is trying to conquer. Like that.
He's a Kryptonian supremacist.
Yeah. So
I don't think he really has any actual resources, but he's like
you
know what he's about.
Yeah. I'll just put him right next to Omni-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
makes the most sense.
They are the same character essentially.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see here.
I think I saw someone describe Omni-Man as just like, imagine if General Zod
Solomon Grundy. Solomon Grundy want pants too. I imagine he's probably dirt poor, because he's his former life he was a mobster that got killed and dumped in a magic bog.
Yeah, he was. If I remember correctly, he was dropped in the same swamp that the Swamp Thing lives in.
His former name, I think, was like Cypress Gold or something like that, or whatever. But yeah, he's murder hobo.
So Solomon Grundy, he was dumped in the swamps outside of Gotham. Swamp Thing happens in Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
Solomon Grundy, I'd say definitely bottom of the barrel poor, under where Mysterio is.
Fair enough.
Because he is a zombie.
Yeah. Well, also, it's weird because there's some versions of him that show him to be somewhat intelligent, and others that just make him a mindless monster. So.
Mm-hmm. He's dumb. Like, that's the thing about Solomon Grundy. He's not complete. The best versions of him are not completely mindless, just dumb.
Yeah.
Did Solomon Grundy inspire Joe Fixit?
It would have been the other way around, actually.
Is Joe Fixit older than Grundy?
I'm pretty sure
in comics.
All right.
But also the thing is, it's important to remember, Joe Fixit, Actually, no. Salman Grundy showed up well before him, but Joe Fixit was just the gray version of Hulk coming back, because a lot of people don't realize this. In the early Hulk comics, Hulk, while he was gray, was actually fairly intelligent.
All right. Have the next one for us. Deathstroke. Now, Dottie, are the jokes true? Like when it comes to Deathstroke.
They tried salvaging him with a movie recently, but I don't think they ever decanonized. Actually, no. Technically, it's not canon anymore. He has money. He has a code of personal ethics. But you would never ever want to room with him, primarily because he did intentionally trick a 15-year-old into a sexually charged relationship.
Yeah, that's what I was worried of. We'll move. Yeah, we'll. I don't know where to place him. I'll just put him next to Zemo.
But you see, it's okay, guys, because he didn't do it for sexual reasons. He did it because manipulating her, killing.
Yeah, I'm just you know what? I'll put him down here just because he is morally bankrupt.
Yeah, go ahead, do it. We lose nothing.
I'm just gonna put it down here because I don't want to think about it. All right. All right. We have. I'm not sure how popular she is as a Wonder Woman villain, but we have Cersei next.
Cersei. I mean, if I'm just going off of the Iliad or the Odyssey, she a bitch, but like, if your intentions are pure enough, I don't think she'll kill you.
In the comics, she just likes to fuck with Diana for shits and giggles. Sometimes.
So more in a more chaotic area.
Yep.
God. So I'll put her right next to Loki.
A little bit under Loki, because the thing is, she's a goddess who's in.
Well, under. Okay, yeah. I'll just put.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
All right, we're at the last two.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not sure.
I'm taking bets that Luther's going to be last.
It is. All right, this one I picked out specifically because of the group we're in.
I know.
I picked Guy Ganta.
Okay.
So her character is weird because it's like in one version she was a scientist, but then in another version she was created by Gorilla Grodd. And it's like, and then her character motivations change all the time too. Because there's one version where she just does crime because she likes to do crime, right? But then the again, other versions of her just like plays her as really dumb. So I'm not sure what even the comics want from her.
I think that she might actually fit for the middle, because she just kind of commits crimes because she just wants like a higher standard of living. But everything I've seen from her, it's just like she's just kind of like she has like a bit of a superiority complex, but that's about it.
I think.
Yeah. Also, she wants to fucking murder Wonder Woman. Like there's that dynamic too, where like she. In some of the animated films, like she's nasty. Like she'll straight up just kill people.
So that would make her more chaotic then.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move Mystique up a little bit. Have him be in the center, and I'll have her be the bomb here.
Yeah, because the thing is, like,
she definitely doesn't really have money.
There's several versions of her too, so it makes it harder to pin down.
All right, then
And again, Wonder Woman villain with the problem of Wonder Woman changes every single time there's a universe reset.
All right, and we don't need a roll. I guess we can technically roll.
Well, I wonder who it's gonna be. Let's go, boys.
And
All right, that's the end of the list. We saved we did the best first, and now we saved the best last. So where do we put good
Well,
old
he's
Rogue
a-
Dome?
He's a mega billionaire, right?
he's at the top of Rich.
He's at the top of Rich.
Well,
He's.
probably not
I'd put
the
him.
top of Rich, but
I'd put him kind of diagonal of Darkseid, right? Because like he like at one point,
I hope you know that you're
his best option for beating Darkseid was to go through the trials of pain and learn the anti-life equation.
In the show, yeah. The thing is, like, it's also Lex Luthor is generally going to be very. He's only going to fuck with people if they directly interfere with his plans. But he's also methodical. So I do agree with Owl's placement of him.
I think I mean yeah, I would absolutely say he's more towards lawful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so similar. You would say here, like next to Kingpin, probably.
Put him next to Magneto, I'd say.
I was gonna say put but where Magneto and Sinestro are, like in between there.
And also, Maru, I know that like we've gone through the entire list, but can I offer you one last option that I feel is the character who should go in the very middle?
Yeah, yes.
In the middle of everything.
Yeah. Okay. Let's first organize this. So, I would say anyone that's in like near the middle, like these like 9 characters, are probably the best suitable ones, are the ones we picked so far.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dottie, what is your? Oh, you sent it?
Look in DMs. I feel like he would unironically actually be an okay roommate.
Honestly, but like I've heard the character, so we can add him in. I feel like he probably is more closer to where maybe someone
He's
like Doc Ock is.
He's either a broke-ass bitch, but I feel like if we're talking about like ideal normal roommate, he would be in the middle. I feel like he would fit that. I feel like out of most like comic book characters, he could actually be in the middle.
Who is it?
Shocker from Spider-Man.
Shocker!
Yes.
Now like if it was just like a flat out like best to worst, he would probably be closer to best. But with with what we have so far, I feel like he would more be in line with Doc Ock or Muse or like any of the other scientist types.
Mayhaps.
Because like remember, like his whole thing is literally just robbing banks. So.
But the thing is, he does actually do trades too. He knows how to do a normal job.
Yeah, like he is an engineer, so I understand that.
Actually, I don't even think he's an engineer.
Well, that's how he made his gauntlets, right? Is because he like he's an engineer that did that stuff.
Oh no, he is an inventor engineer.
Okay, well, that's why I thought like that's how he made his gauntlets, is because he knows how to make them.
Yeah, like he's a civil engineer. Now that I remember.
Yeah.
He made his costume by cutting up a couch.
Now that tracks. That makes sense. All right. Trying to think of any villains that I didn't add that probably would fit right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the ones I have now, like this circle is probably like it's really like choose. It's like if you had to pick between any of these, like anyone in the circle would probably be a good pick.
That would be a good like true neutral villain then.
Unless you really want to add fucking Paul into the middle.
I mean, the thing is, like,
what's a villain? What's a villain that actually has like a secret identity and like works a normal job, but they decide to be a villain on their off time?
Really, one character who comes to mind is, like, technically, because of his position, is Bob, Agent of Hydra.
Icron suggested the Spot.
The Spot is completely insane in the comics.
Yeah, it's like anyone that has those powers and looks like that is probably gonna be a lot more chaotic.
Have you ever seen that one guy? He's like, I think his power is onomatopoeia or something like that.
Yeah, we don't respect him because he was made by Kevin.
Okay, so Bob from Hydra. Hold on. Like this name sounds familiar. I just.
He's not actually a villain, but he's employed by Hydra, which is the reason why you can call him. That's the joke.
Yeah, Hydra Bob. Huh, and this don't know where. Yeah. I don't hate the idea of adding him into the middle. He is working with Nazis though, so I don't know if he's gonna be.
The joke is he works with Deadpool, but because he doesn't actually have a uniform, he Hydra uniform.
Oh.
So the thing is, he's called Agent of Hydra, even though he hasn't for them for months.
You know what? We'll add him to. We'll add him to. Well, he'll be the true neutral of this situation. Let's see if I can find a good picture of him though. Honestly, a very dark picture that I can't really see through, but we can do it here. Boom, boom. Oh, that's very small. All right.
It's very crunchy, but I think it fits perfectly.
Yeah, well, there we go. I guess the best question, like, is he really a villain if he is like he works with Deadpool? Or
no, again, the joke is like he's technically part of Hydra. That's the reason why he's in the very middle. Because he is in fact just a normal dude who kept getting employed by criminal organizations by
oh, just because they assume like that he's a bad guy, so he keeps getting hired.
No, it's not even that. It's like every time he needed a new job, hired by one of those factions. Like he got hired by Hydra at one point. He worked at AIM. And there was like one other group that I can't remember. I think he like at one point applied to a job, and it turned out it was like, oh, they were trying to indoctrinate him into the Hand. Left immediately.
Yeah. Actually, wait.
The Hand? Who's that?
The Hand are magical ninjas that are the reason why you have a clan in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ah.
They're magic ninjas who are the villains of Daredevil and Elektra.
All right, hold on. I'm finding something to add. All right, that's not it. All right, so that's the list. Let me just add some flavor to this list. Hold on. There we go. All right. All right. Yeah, I think this is a good list. I guess we'll open up the room for like anyone that you guys would want to add.
You thinking of anyone else?
I'm trying to think. Ra's al Ghul would be a terrible roommate.
I was tempted to add him, but honestly, I don't know much about the Society of Owls, so I just.
Oh,
left.
he's not part of Court of Owls. He's the master of the League of Assassins or League of Shadows.
Wait, I thought the. Okay.
The Court of Owls is something else entirely.
Okay. Well, either way, I don't know much about any of them. Like, my knowledge of Batman is like the serial killers, the masterminds, all that stuff.
He is a super old eco-terrorist.
Yeah. I guess I shouldn't say I don't know. Like, I know Ra's al Ghul, I know Talia al Ghul is. It's just I don't really. I don't know. I just didn't feel like adding them, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable. He's a character who's more cool from the schemes that he perpetuates, and when you get into like the code of honor stuff with him, it makes him interesting.
Okay. I'll add this just to be funny. Hold on. Or I guess more funny. There we go.
The degenerate corner.
Exactly. Yeah, the degenerate corner on the right hand side, then the other degenerate corner on the left hand side. All right, let's save this up, and I think that's it. PNG, and I'll put in my memes.
But I will say, it's a good thing we were going with like more of the comic version of characters, because I only learned recently just how much of a chaotic shithead cartoon Apocalypse is.
Oh yeah. Well, also I think Apocalypse is like designed both in the cartoon and probably in older comics looks dumb as shit. That's just me.
It's because like you lose out on all of the shading, so he looks goofier without shading.
Yeah. Well,
they also really hyper-emphasized his lower jaw lips.
Yeah, that's the thing I was talking about. It's like it's like the very. It looks like just he's losing oxygen. It's just. All right, Micron, you want to add something? All right, I'll just wait for his response.
Sorry, were you?
There is one I can say for Owl though.
They're sort of purple.
But
they have
Juggernaut.
semi-gloss to them.
Oh, I was thinking about Juggernaut. I feel like as a roommate, he's a normal dude, right? But well, he's from a rich family though. Like he's actually a little rich boy.
Not very bright at all. Like
But
we
the
have no lights on it. Like you're
Micron, I'm not falling for that. Fuck off.
What did Micron say?
He said I misspelled roommate.
So it's important to remember, Owl. Juggernaut is also really stupid, and his superpower literally runs on how much he wants to break shit.
Correct.
What do you call this? To the hut
And
of my
I
dad's.
suppose this also gives me an idea for another another like tier list. Which characters would do the best at a normal 9-to-5 job? But if Juggernaut was just assigned to decon for like just destroying fucking buildings.
Yeah, I'll say this. Like, what was the other idea that you had? Which characters would be like best or worst YouTubers?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I would.
All right, today I'm gonna see if I can take an M80 shell to the face.
So yeah, 9 to 5 jobs and also YouTubers is a good one. I just need to find a different prompt for it, like because if I keep doing like
It's
if I keep
or
doing the same
instead
kind
of the
build,
graph, like this, you want to have categories, right? So it's just like, well, what kind of YouTuber, like, right? So it's like who like Doctor Doom would probably be a really good like history channel tube or something. But of course, he's telling history from his point of view.
Yeah, I think actually let's sketch this out. You know what? Fuck it. Let's we'll do the graph for whatever I come up with next, or like which characters I want to do. But we'll Juggernaut in construction would have field day most likely, and Hella with and Hella would be fired day one.
I feel like if you want to break things up, you make your next list like protagonists.
Yeah.
For something.
Yeah. Well,
maybe go back to like the Disney stuff and say like Disney protagonists doing something.
That's fair. Although there's a fucking lot of them, I will say. I need to thin that list out majorly.
You can also look at video game villains.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like I'm down with staying with the villain idea. Is just I'm just also thinking about it's like I don't want to keep doing like it's similar to like I just don't want to do like Disney all the time. I do want to split like mix it up with like different like ideas. Mm-hmm. Like one of the ideas I had originally for this list, and also like I had a version of this list where it was which Goosebumps villains would be the worst neighbors, because with Goosebumps stories, a lot of them take place in the suburban area. So that was one of my ideas, but honestly, there's not as many Goosebumps villains that fit the rules I had in place, so decided to do comic villains instead. All right. Yeah, let's draw out this list. So I saved this list. Let's open up something new.
There is one thing I can suggest for just like the character pool, at least. You can do stuff with Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon characters at some point.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like there's also there. I could do a different. I can split those up as well, like having both in one. Actually, that is a good idea for doing like the YouTube idea is doing that.
Which cartoon characters would be like the best YouTubers?
Yeah. All right. So let's draw out this. So here's my idea. We still split up between best to worst, but then we have categories. Not just of like what kind of content they would make, but more how big of a YouTuber they would actually be. So, for example,
I feel like you make it into 4 columns then, because like or 3 columns, and like you have like this general division, right? And then on like the far side of each is like the absolute best and the absolute worst in their respective categories.
Yeah. Well, we can still spread out with, the further you get, the worse it is, but...
Yeah, but no, what I'm saying is, like, you have the lines of mediocrity.
Yeah, alright. Oh, I'm doing these on the background. Hold on, what's...
Another thing you can do, which would be very, very fun, if you can get Rock in on one of these, is... and this was what came to mind. A chart featuring fighting game antagonists.
I actually have an idea for Rock and his Cave of Goons. I was thinking about making a there's like a cheap Jeopardy maker that I can get. And I was thinking about doing a whole Jeopardy game with just fine game stuff in it for them.
That would be good.
Alright, I need to do separate lines here. Just because
Actually, I do have one really good suggestion, though, Maru.
Yeah.
Which video game locations would be the best to go on vacation in?
See, that's not even a debate because everyone knows it's gonna be fucking Mario Sunshine.
Yes, but the thing is, it's the other locations that make it fun.
That's fair. Alright. Last line for that. Then I can start trying moving stuff around.
Also, counterpoint, hey Maru.
Yep.
Go to Isle Delfino, learn that they have absolutely no food other than fruit.
That is a fair point, honestly, but either way, I feel like that would be everyone's like ideal, I think.
Yeah, tropical vacation, but there's like a lot of other locations you can pull. That's my point. And next on the list, we have Red Mountain from Morrowind.
Alright. I'll also do a line here to kind of show.
Actually, so I have a very good idea with like the grid system for like this YouTuber idea, Maru.
Yep.
So you have like, you need to have like one column on like the far side where the bad ones are.
Yep.
It's just like this tiny little line on the very end that says, they are not beating the allegation.
That would be really wild to do that with cartoon characters. I don't think I can add that. All right. So I'll add the title here. Actually, I'll. All right. Oh, where the hell is this line? Oh, is it here?
So here's a list. Which villain can make the worst apology video?
That's too specific.
Steven Universe would give the worst YouTube apology.
Yeah, because they would unironically use the ukulele.
I'm sorry I let these aliens kill everyone in your town.
I don't even want to think about that. I'll just. All right. Okay.
Could have used my powers to stop them when I met them.
All right. Okay, let's see if these actually measure out, because I do want to have equal spacing. Okay, I can probably move this up a bit more, then I can... Oh.
So there'd be like Let's Plays, video essays, and lifestyle, you think, would be a good third option?
Oh, no, I'm basing this left column as like how many viewers they would get, because there's probably gonna be some characters that have that get a lot of views, while there's some that barely get any.
So it's about viewer count. Okay.
Yeah.
Because like the channels could end up being like really varied.
Yeah. Oh, extremely.
Oh, actually, you know, I do have like one thing I can say you could do, just so that there's a little bit of identification with like what kind of channels they'd have. When you put them on the thing, Maru.
Yep.
Just give whatever image you gave them a border that like, let's just have
like a profile picture.
Yeah, like a little border that's like a different color depending on like the type of channel it is, and that's all you have to do.
Yeah, that's a decent idea. Because the least
it would simplify the overall flow of the entire thing, and all you need to write out a key.
Yeah. All right. just select the one that I want. There we go.
So, do you want us to type out suggestions for the chart?
The Cartoon Network one, I can probably figure it out. I would probably have to do the similar things of what I did with the Disney list. Like, so I only limit it to one character per show.
Mm-hmm.
Because my God, trying to fit, like, trying to do as group.
You can only fit so many.
Yeah. So I probably, at very least, may ask like representatives for each show, because there's probably some characters that, like, for example, Rugrats. For example, I don't think Tommy himself would be making like videos. Probably like some of the parents would probably be.
Stu would definitely have a channel. He's a toy inventor.
Yeah, exactly. So it fits cases like that where probably the main characters wouldn't actually have a channel, but probably someone else. Like that'll probably be better. All right, I'll fill with this later. I'm gonna end stream and actually want to see on the Twitch side of it who is on that I can raid.
Also, I was just going to type those ones out to you, Maru, because that's what came to mind immediately.
Sounds good. All right, I think you know what? They're doing their 3rd year thing. I might as well show some good graces.
Oh yes, stream over.
Stream over. I am going to send you guys.
So fat sheep, huh?
Huh?
Sorry, Jake's talking to Lexi.
All right, let's see. Anyone interested in the raid?
All right, I'm a hop off call. Thanks for this. Let me know if you want to do more, Maru.
Yeah. Would be down to do the cartoon one?
Hell yeah!
All right, I'll try to do it each on the same time so we can all do it. All right, I'll raid.
I think another important thing before everything is finished up to say, Maru, is old cartoon characters also very important.
Yeah, that's fair. Like old, like Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Hanna-Barbera and like 1980 stuff, like TMNT, He-Man, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm pretty sure, because TMNT came out with Nickelodeon, right? Or was it a separate channel?
Oh, it was way earlier. I think it was actually an NBC. It was on NBC originally, but
oh, that's fair. Like anything from like anything from like Fox Kids and anything like that. We'll add those to the 3rd-party count. Like we'll do Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, then we'll just do a 3rd-party list that's just with from stuff that doesn't exist anymore, really.
Yeah. I mean, it still exists. It's just that they haven't really made shows for it in a while.
Johnny Bravo would be Bob Billy and Flirting Channel. Is either has no accusation or is canceled within a week. Well, the thing is, you gotta remember is fucking Johnny is a teenager. Like he's not even out of high school.
Johnny Bravo?
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure.
No, he's out of high school. He's in his 20s.
Oh, is he in his 20s? I thought he was still like 18. Like
I don't think he's 18. I think he's in his 20s because there's one funny thing in Johnny Bravo. A virgin.
Okay, yeah. 20 to 23 is where it's kind of is. Okay, my mistake. I thought it's fair enough. All right, well, I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm gonna send you guys to Gabo because they're doing their 3rd anniversary stream. All right.
I'm gonna have to head out, so I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
All right, let's raid out.